all I have to say is you're a shitty friend. You're a vibe killer. You're exhausting. And you give Karen energy. No notes, Jasmine. We knew she said the Karen energy part, but first, vibe killer. Vibe killer in there just really stung. Janet was like, what? Vibe killer? It's like her biggest fear. She knows everyone says that about her, at least online. She's like, no. And Karen energy. I mean, to say someone has Karen energy, I mean, she does. Fully. But like, especially for a Black woman to say that to you. Oh my God. My soul would leave my body. Oh, it's so good. What was great about this episode is it had so much just cast dynamic stuff and not too much with the Jacks. I mean, we still do have the Jacks of it all, but it's dark and disgusting, and he needs to be unemployed. He does not deserve a job. Jacks. I'm talking about Jacks. So we'll talk more about that. Let's just get into it. Before I do, though, make sure you're subscribed to the show, following the show, like and comment if you're watching on YouTube. Love you. Let's do it. Sheena hosts a party. I was like, damn, okay, so you made sure you were in the mix. You made sure, you said you spoke to production. You said, I will host a party, whatever, let's do it. She makes her enchiladas. Oh, she loves her enchilada. I actually want enchiladas, but not I feel like the ones she makes. Remember that girl, Charlie? That woman, excuse me. Remember when she said something like, they're a little like whitewashed or something, and Sheena's like, yeah, they're not authentic. No, they're like not. They're like my own recipes. They would be. Anyway, the big drama here is after cameras went down, Zach supposedly said something to Sheena about Jared. Now, Jared is the guy we met last season, Janet's friend, the one who was in the room when Janet was talking to Zach. There was the other guy, Simon. Simon was the guy who was recording them when they were remember when Zach was having his meltdown over not getting invited to Big Bear? There was Simon recording it. So that's Simon and Jared. Those are, if you can remember them that way. So that's Jared, who Zach was saying something about. And of course, Zach goes, I thought I said Jared can go fuck himself. She says I said something more aggressive. And Kristen's kind of nodding her head like, yes, if we're to believe what Sheena says you said, it's not great, whatever you said. But then Zach's thing is, then Brittany comes out so aggressively, like, I can't believe you said that. And then they cut to his confessional and he goes, is hyperbole dead? Shut up. But I understood it. I understood in that moment. I'm like, oh, I kind of get what he means. Like, it's kind of like how you're like, I will fucking kill him. Okay, I will kill him. But you're not meaning that you're going to really do that. And so I don't know what Zach said, but now I'm understanding it and I'm getting it. But it sounds like Sheena and Brock really don't like Zach from the after show, what they've said in the after show. So I can believe that he said it and she, not the person to say it to. Because a lot of them really protect Jared. They love Jared a lot. He's had cancer. He's a survivor of cancer. And we saw the charity event, remember? So they're all very protective of him. And so I'm like, Zach, wrong audience. Wrong audience. And Sheena doesn't like Zach. So she's like, I can't wait to go tell Brittany this. But anyway, Janet and Jason are now on a whole new tear about the ring rumor. We thought it could have been squashed last episode because Kristen straight up admitted, I said it because of the way you guys were going after Danny and Nia. That's why. That's why I said it. That's it. I don't think it's true. Actually, no, Kristen didn't say I don't think it's true. Kristen said, I mean, I haven't been friends with you guys in a while. But according to Janet, they were kind of laughing about it when they told her mom, because her mom was taking care of what's their son's name? Damn, Cameron. So when they got, according to Janet, when they got back home, they were joking and laughing about this silly rumor that someone started, but actually her mom was the one who was like, well, wait, hold on. She got visibly upset. And then this morning I was like, wait, this is bullshit. Okay, I just doubt. First of all, I fucking doubt. You know what? Actually, I'm just going to skip to the after show. I'm going to skip to the part in the after show of my notes because I took a lot of notes on this goddamn. Here it is. Because in the after show, she talks more about her mom and what her mom had to do, how her mom got her riled up about this. First of all, Zach is right. Zach goes, you had your mom change rooms and take the not primary room as when you were a kid. Lies that your mom got you all amped up over it. But this is what Janet says. She goes, when we got back, we talked to both our moms about it, and we're like, oh, heads up, there's going to be this rumor about Jason. There's no truth to it. Don't worry. And Jason's mom is a retired kindergarten teacher, and she's extremely sweet. And she kind of like got a little choked up about it and was like, your character is everything about you. And it really hurts that this is going to be out there. And then, my mom was like, it's sad that Cameron will have to see this one day. And then we started seeing their perspective. I was like, oh man, this does suck. Okay, listen, you guys. You're already on a show. You're on a show. That's already going to be a lot for them to handle, possibly. But now this rumor that at least this is the way I took it. I think it was pretty obvious to me that this ring thing was just Kristen trying to throw a wrench out there into your little plan of going after Danny and Nia. And it worked because now you're fixating on it. And I think we all kind of knew this is not, even if you did take your ring off to go to bars, which no one seems to believe, but we know that Kristen was just being messy. But now you guys being so upset, like it's this huge betrayal, it's over the top. It is over the fucking top. All right. And then here's what Jason says. Jason goes, regardless of if there's any credibility to this rumor, if you Google me, one of the first things that will probably pop up is Jason Caperna takes his ring off when he goes out. That's not what I want my Google to be. Okay, dude, do you not understand how this works? And he goes, if someone's thinking, oh, I should use this guy as an attorney, well, he takes his ring off when he goes out. 99.9% of clients, they want a serious individual, not some philandering midlife crisis guy. Dude, you're on a reality show. If someone was looking for a serious individual, you just being on a reality show, that alone, you're out. If someone's really looking for like that serious guy, you being on the cast of The Valley, you're not going to get that ticket. So the fact that you're on a reality show alone kind of does something to your professional reputation, right? Because if you weren't on a show, then you would just still be the lawyer guy. That's all that would be Googleable about you. But you said yes to this show. Hello, sir. I'm sorry, nuts. Okay, back to the scene. Because we'll go into the after show after this because so much is happening. But Jason accusing Jasmine of like making the whole thing up. That is kind of here's where I'm confused. It seems clear to me, and maybe this is just me actually creating a fake story for myself, but it seems to me that Kristen heard the rumor from somebody and then confirmed it with Jasmine. So it isn't like Jasmine took it to Kristen and then Kristen during filming was like, I'm going to bring up this thing that Jasmine wanted me to bring up. It was something that was out there, which is it's so minor. It's itty bitty. It's a baby rumor. If you happen to be seen at a bar with your ring off a couple times, fine. But no one else has any other stories about you, dude. Nothing else is coming out. So this is nothing, truly. And if anybody really watches the show, I mean, if Jason's worried about someone Googling him with no idea what's going on the Valley, why would that come up? Like, why'd they be like, let me just Google this lawyer? What? He takes his ring off when he... Silly. Silly, silly, silly. But then here's the thing. Janet's now so convinced too that that Jasmine made this up and just told Kristen, and that's how this got started, that Janet's going real hard. She's like, girl came after my husband. Good luck. You just put a target on your back, bitch. The bitch in there was aggressive. It was an aggressive bitch. All right. Whoa. So that's also why, because this comes up in the after show more, the scene at the beach where they have the whole blow up. Janet's like, I am like her friend. Like, I'm coming into this like I'm her friend. And then she's turning on me saying, I have Karen energy. Okay, but you're not talking like someone who is friends with her. Why are you guys not getting her side of the story? And why are you, because we find out from Jasmine in the after show that after the shark party, Janet was rage texting Jasmine, saying things like, people warned me about you. How could you spread this rumor? And Jasmine's like, why don't you fucking call me? So they went into the beach with Jasmine having received this rage text situation from Janet and no follow-up. So how are you friends? I were friends and then she just turned on me. No, you rage texted her. You didn't get her side. You did this. Oh, damn it. Damn it, Janet. Damn it, Janet. Didn't even mean to do that. Beach day. Janet with this metal detector. All right, that she got for her 30th birthday. All right. So I would really like it if you were just going to admit that you were being messy and petty with this prop. But you trying to be like, no, this is a hobby of mine. I love it. It's like, the way I would respect Janet so much if she was like, yeah, if Jasmine wants to make some rumor up about my husband and his wedding ring, I'm going to bring a metal detector and pretend I got to look for it. How much more respectable would that have been? Instead, she's like, oh, it's a hobby. In the after show, they go into this whole thing about how Janet has hobbies. And this metal detector thing was a hobby of hers for a little bit. Okay, sure, girl. Michelle, when she asks Janet about the dang metal detector, Jason's like, oh, we were just doing it around the fire pit. This area is loaded. All she found was a bottle cap, you said. And Janet's like, I'm going to keep it. It means so much to me. I'm like, that's disgusting. It's just a bottle cap from someone fucking drinking at ew. No. Brittany is the messy one there, though. Brittany goes, you can find people's wedding rings. I'm like, oh, you knew what you were doing. And then Janet can't help herself. She's like, maybe Jason took off his wedding ring. And now imagine Jasmine knowing that she's got this loaded text message sitting there from Janet, and she hears that, like, I'm done. So then Brittany suggests truth or dare. What the fuck is this game? Janet goes, how big is Brock's dick? I don't, this isn't, what? Also, this is on camera. But then, ew to Sheena being like, I got hemorrhoids one time. Okay, guys, she has a Preparation H partnership. She posted it today. It is a Sheena on her Instagram. She's like, science with Sheena, and does this whole thing about hemorrhoids and how Preparation H is her go-to. So I need to know, did she say the hemorrhoids thing on camera because she knew she already had this partnership lined up and she's like, I will say it on camera? Or did she know they're going to definitely use that? So she preemptively reached out to Preparation H and said, you're going to want a sponsorship together. You're going to want a brand deal. Trust me. Because go to her Instagram. It's on her Instagram. Yeah. I kind of don't hate it. I kind of am impressed. I'm not going to lie. I'm like, that's might as well. When it comes to reality stars, so much of their lives is just up for ridicule. Like, look at me. Look what I'm doing. They might as well monetize. So I'm not mad at it. Okay, Jason and Jasmine I keep doing that. Janet and Jason pull Jasmine aside for the little chat they've been anticipating all day long. Jason opens with, I'm confused. Please explain. So Jasmine starts to explain. She says, the ring thing, I heard it years ago. Janet interrupts, how many years ago? And she's like, okay, Janet, let me finish. Okay, don't cut me off because this is what you do. Janet immediately grabs Jason and goes, done. We're done. We're done. And Jasmine can't. She's like, let me talk, Janet. You're yelling. When Janet said, you're yelling. Oh, shut the fuck up. Jasmine's like, because you're walking away. I just asked a question. No, you said, let's go. And then Jason goes, don't be defensive. I'm like, you be quiet right now. You're putting her on the spot. Both of you are going for her right now. Janet goes, where did you hear about it? Jasmine says, I heard it from a group of friends. I'm not a snitch. Melissa heard it too. A lot of people heard it, but I didn't care. And Jason goes, so you heard this rumor 2 years ago, and then you just sat on it. Now, Jasmine could explain. She could, if they would let her. But she's like, the fact that it was brought up, that sucks. But I'm telling you for a fact, I didn't believe it then. I don't believe it now. Janet's like, you brought it up to Kristen. No. Jasmine's like, the fact is it was brought up. And then she goes, you brought it up. You brought it up. No. So she's like, snap. She's like, Janet, shut the fuck up. And Janet, of course, is like, we're going. And so she pulls Jason to walk away. But Jasmine, that's it. You are Janet, you've been a shitty ass friend. You're a vibe killer. You're exhausting. You give Karen energy, and I'm done with it. I loved it. I loved it. It was so good. Jasmine's done. She fucking walks back over to the group, and Jason, sorry, he looks so lame because trying to like walk fast in sand is not easy, but he's like trying to walk fast, and he's like, Janet's pulling his arm. He goes, everyone needs to know that this is the fakest, most two-faced person. I have looked out for you for forever. You have broken my heart. It was good, but it was also like funny. And so Jason starts walking back away, and Janet, it made me so mad. She puts her hands up by her mouth and she goes, you're a liar. Oh, I hated it. Oh my God, I hated it so much. It was so condescending and so rude. I hated it. So Janet's like, Jason, come on, we're leaving. So she's packing things up. And Jason says to Jasmine, have fun looking in the mirror when you've talked shit about every single person here. You're two-faced. Jasmine's like, we all talk shit about each other. Jason goes, no, we don't. I don't talk shit about anybody. Your wife? Your wife certainly talks about everybody. Everyone said it last season. Like, she's known for it. So please, all right? And Jason goes, I can't believe this is so dramatic. I can't believe the biggest snake in the grass was under my nose the whole time. Okay, so now I get what's like listening more to the after show and kind of getting what made Jason so hurt was what Jasmine said to Janet about the Karen energy. So like, I don't know. It's really fucking funny that hurt them so bad. It's like, do you not see what your wife is doing right in front of you? Like, she keeps interrupting. You guys are both coming at her like she's this big liar who made this up for drama. Like as if you don't know her and as if you aren't really good friends. You know I can tell that wasn't Jasmine's style. And you can hear Kristen even say it herself. She's like, I didn't hear it from Jasmine. She confirmed it, but she did not tell it to me. It's not like she's the one who came and brought it. Because, if Kristen heard that and then she was like, let me go ask Jasmine. And Jasmine was like, oh, yes, I heard it. Because if a bunch of people heard it, was Jasmine going to lie and be like, no, I didn't? But, Jasmine could have even said, I heard it, but like, I don't think it's true. But Kristen just banked it. Kristen's like, I got it. But now Jasmine's getting blamed for it like she was the one who wanted it to be a thing. But Kristen is the one who wanted it to be a thing. Anyways, so they're gone. Sheena tries to kind of have Janet's back because she lies right here, you guys. She goes, well, that's what they're saying. The group of guys that Jasmine allegedly heard this from, they're saying you made it up. Well, how is that possible when Jason, in the very next frame, he goes, who are these random guys she's talking about? Right? Like, Sheena, it's one thing to be like, they think you're lying because they just think you're making it up. But it's another thing to be like, oh, no, that's what those people are saying. No, they're not. That's a lie. Don't you even right now. Kristen, right there, she's like, Jasmine was not the one to tell me. Okay. Anyway, so it's on the record. There you go. Whenever I would say things like, oh, I can't go do that activity because my knees will hurt, my feet will hurt, my hips, someone inevitably says, you just got to find the right shoes. And I'd be like, what shoes? Tell me. And I tried all of the suggestions and would still end up struggling in the same amount of pain until Vionic sponsored this podcast and changed my life with the shoes. Vionic shoes revolutionized medical orthotics. But see, when I say that, don't you immediately think of the ugliest shoe? Wrong. The shoes are chic. I have the Uptown Willa, which is part sneaker, part moccasin, very streamlined. I have the Uptown Loafer, which is part loafer, part sneaker. Oh, so cute. And my babies, the Monarch sneaker with the leopard print detail. Oh my God, I love those shoes so much. But these shoes legit have changed the way I can walk around and move in this world. For anyone who's had chronic pain in their body, you can relate when activities get suggested and you're like, I don't know if I can handle all that walking. Enter Vionic shoes. Changed the game. Listen to me. Go to vionicshoes.com and use code SheSpeaks at checkout for 15% off your entire order. When you log into your account, one-time use only. Vionic shoes are wearable well-being for your feet. Next up is the brunch, Zach, Kristen, Nia, and Brittany. Wait, this was weird. Zach, Jesse, Nia, and Danny went to a bar. Because Nia and Zach talk about it. I'm like, well, that's a combination of people. All right. Brittany talks a little bit about her new guy. He's a dad with a real job. She met him at a bachelorette night at Jax's, which I'm not really sure what that even means. But they talk about beach day. And Zach himself is like, the fact that they're saying that Jasmine made this up is crazy. I heard it not from Jasmine. So she didn't make it up. I think Nia is spot on. She's like, I think Janet and Jason got into a spiral where you kind of get together and you kind of spiral on the narrative that you think it is. And that's exactly what happened. But Zach seamlessly transitions into his talk with Brittany about how Janet is fucking their friendship up. But he opens with, you used to hide or downplay things with Jax, and now with Janet, you're doing that too. I'm like, wow, bold opener. Bold thing to say, to compare the way she covered up for Jax to the way she's covering up for the way he tries to compare Janet and Jax. That's what I'm saying. You're going to lose it. You're going to lose her because it's like, whoa, now you're going too far. But Zach says, heaven forbid I do or say or step out of line at all because I'm held to a different standard and you don't have my back in that moment. Now, Kristen also feels this way. And it's funny because it made me think Kristen and Zach are those friends that you kind of do maybe take for granted because they're always going to forgive you and they're always going to come back because they need the same. Because they are also going to fuck up and be crazy and require endless forgiveness, right? So when Kristen's like, I also feel like Brittany kind of takes Zach's side. Janet's side. And then we're like, we both feel like she just takes us for granted. I'm like, yeah, because you're both that messy bestie, right? You are messy besties for sure. But this conversation, okay, I don't know exactly how to explain this. Brittany reminds me of one of my really good friends. And she's not from Kentucky with the incredible accent or anything like that. But when we were younger and we had a big group of friends that there was drama in, there was always this that woman in the group is so toxic and so terrible, but my friend would always still be their friend because she was friends with everyone. And Brittany has that same tone in her voice where you're like, how can you be friends with this horrible person? But she just was. And she would say, I also defend. She would say, I could hear almost verbatim the exact conversation. we'd be like, you have to start having our back too. And she'd be like, I have the exact same conversations with them. They also don't understand why I'm your friend. And it was this like weird war that I couldn't understand how she was like able to ride the fence on. Now, I'm also going to say something that's going to sound so mean, but this is a very good friend of mine, so I say it with love. My friend is also kind of stupid. Because like Brittany's stupid. But like admittedly, Brittany knows she's not the smartest, the brightest bulb in the box, whatever the phrase is. Brittany knows that about herself, you know? And so I feel like the similarity is like, it's such a simple mind that can be friends with everyone, even in spite of dysfunction. And when she says, I don't want any time that something small happens, you're like, well, she likes Janet better than me, because that is not true. I can hear us having this conversation in my 20s. She was in her 30s because I was the young baby of the group. What am I talking about? Moving on. Janet and Jason are at home hanging with the baby, but Janet is crying. She's very sad that she says, I think Jasmine isn't the friend I thought she was. But like no awareness of what she had to contribute to that at all. Like, did you fucking rage text her? After the shark party, did you? Huh? And were you not standing next to Jason? Like both of you were like, bitch, you made it up, right? You lied. You're a liar. Oh, and now you're friends? Cool. But the big story here is that Jax FaceTimes. Now, this is the start of a lot of thoughts and things that he says, but I'm going to go through what he says because we're going to compare it to what he says in the goddamn after show and how he just lies. He just lies. No problem. We know he knows he's on camera. We know he knows that they're filming this conversation, right? Which was what's scary actually about him, because he's capable of understanding these concepts, but he's only using like the verbiage to sound good. He has no intentions of actually truly embodying these things. So here's what he says. He says, he's tired of the anger. I lost it about Julian. He goes, but I also pushed her away and I didn't even see it. Then he goes, I've gotten away with it for so long that I found this to be acceptable behavior, and it's obviously not. I know how I grew up. I have to think my dad put me here for a reason, because he's like, enough is enough. You're going to do what I did to you. He says, I want to break the cycle. I'm just all lies. I just don't believe any of this. I don't believe he thinks his dad really sent him. He's just saying, someone said this to him in there, and he's repeating it, okay? But then he says, I wish I was held more accountable. I wish Brittany would have left me a long time ago. So you're blaming her. If Brittany hadn't let me if Brittany hadn't let me get away with it, then I don't think I would be so bad. But Brittany let me get away with it for so long. What did I tell you guys? He had no respect for her for a while. And then in his confessional, he straight up says, I'm so used to treating her like shit that I just didn't even see it because she let me get away with it for so long. Exactly. You treated her like shit and you had no respect for her. I swear he was like testing her. Like, if I do this, she won't leave me? Wow. Amazing. Yeah. Jason then says, if you want to make strides with Brittany, I know what's been really weighing on her is the mortgage. She says you haven't paid it in a while. Now, what does Jax fucking say right then and there? Right there. He goes, I have a situation for that. Brittany and I have a very successful podcast and we make a lot of money on it. I talked to my manager and she will get the full amount until we pay off what needs to be paid off. He says, I just don't have the funds to pay off, but that's the best way to do it. Okay. That's what he said. In the after show, you know what? We're going to get to that later. We're almost there. We're going to do the after show, because before that, we go and see Brittany. Brittany is moving back into the house. Jax has hidden the ladder so that she can't cover the cameras back up, which is disgusting of him, right? Jenny, his sister, calls. And while she's on a FaceTime, she's talking about how her wedding rings are missing. Doesn't know where they are. Producer comes in and says, hey, Britt, I just got this text from Jax. The fucking text, which, by the way, the producer even says, how did he know I was even here? How did he know I was here? So make sure is what he says. Make sure you get that on film. I can hear everything. Childish behavior. Uh-huh. So then he calls Jenny. So Brittany goes, okay, go ahead, take that. You talk to him. Jenny calls right back and says he's going to the hospital. His blood pressure is really high. I could hear them driving. So let me get this straight. He sends a producer a text message, that text message, that one right there. And then he calls Jenny, and now he's actually going to the hospital. Mm-hmm. Yeah. 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 All right. So now let's go to the after show. So sad, but Britt's talking about how she's sore, her hips are sore because she had some fun the night before. And then she says, Jax is going to see this, that I talked about sex, and he's going to have a meltdown. And I was like, God, can this lady just stop talking to him already? Like, block his number, go to that thing, the app where you can only communicate. The courts can see it. What's the one that Lala was on with Randall? I feel like we've seen that a couple times where it's like, this is the only way you can communicate is through this app because it will be going to the court, period. That's what they need. You don't need it. But turns out he's holding certain things over her head. All right. But I'm just going to go through my notes because I have pages and pages now of what he says. What he had said. What? Jax specifically, I am not dating anybody, no. But what else does he say? I do talk to girls and hang out, but I'm not dating anybody. Did she say she was dating somebody? So this little, there's more, he says more, but that little part there, Brittany knew that he was getting with women and that some of those women were reaching out to Brittany with like the disgusting text messages that he was sending them and being like, this is what your husband was saying to me. And now remember, we already discussed this. So Jax knew that Brittany knew he was hooking up with people, but he thought he could say on camera, I'm not dating anyone. No, maybe I see people, but no, I'm not dating anyone. And then did she say she was? Because he's keeping track of that. In his mind, he's like, our son might see this, or he's like holding it over her head because he's still controlling. Oh, but then he goes, I know there is a guy because I've come to the house to pick up Cruz and I've seen empty condom wrappers next to the bed. I know that's not true. I know for a fact that is not true. But he had to come up with a way to make it sound like it's a funny. I think he was actually testing too. I think he was testing it. I think he was testing to see how they would react in the room. How the producer would react. Like, what are they going to be like? Oh, what a slut. How horrible of her to do that or not. And so he kind of like adjusts accordingly. But Britt says, I have like a sex drawer and he went up and counted her condoms. He's gone through my trash cans. So then Jax is like, because obviously the producer's like, wait, you found it in the trash? And he goes, the first time I went there, I kind of like peeked over into the garbage, and saw them myself. And Jesse goes, oh, that's not controlling at all, going through her garbage. Ooh, well. And then Jax goes, well, no. Then Jax completely makes this up. He goes, well, no, I was up in the bathroom. Why was I in that bathroom? Oh, because Cruz was in the bathtub. That's right. And I had to use the bathroom. And I went in and I looked over, obviously in the trash. And I just went looking through the garbage. And oh, there's a condom wrapper. Mm-hmm. I don't believe at all that Cruz was in a bathtub. No. The way he told that story, I'm like, so you're lying about the whole thing. You went beelining to the bathroom to look for condoms in the trash. That's what you did. Cruz was on in the bathtub. Nope, liar. But then he's flipping it because he's not, I feel like he's like testing everyone's response. But he goes, I called her on, I made a joke about it. I'm like, at least you're using condoms. That's good. I was keeping it lighthearted. Mm-hmm. We should be able to make jokes about this now. It's been a year and a half, right? Let's get to the point where we can try to beat this system here, and be like, I'm hanging out with this guy tonight. I'll go, cool. Let me grab the kid and you go out and have fun. I want to be there so bad. But she's still hurt, and that's understandable. Bullshit, you brought it up as a joke. And bullshit, you want to get there. Brittany has said a number of times that she's gotten harassed by him about who are you dating, who's that, still brings up Julian. So please. But then Jax also, he's feeling this out. So he knows he has to pretend that he wants Brittany to move on. And he's like, she's young enough. She can get married and have kids. But he can barely get it out. Okay, but now let's get to the whole mortgage podcast thing. Jax says, we make about $1 million a year off my podcast alone. My podcast. So I go, okay, this is what we're going to do. I'm going to hand over the feed, and I don't want to hear about the house payment anymore. Cut over to Brittany. Yep, never did it. She said we had to split it all the way up until the podcast contract was up. And then I took over the contract completely. And now he's taking the longest time ever to sign over the RSS feed because it's worth a lot of money. And he is holding it over my head. Every little thing I do. If you don't let me see Cruz, if you don't let me spend time with him on Easter, I'm not going to sign the RSS feed over. That's sick. And she says, and I deserve it because I've been in much more. I put in more work. I think it was her idea, she says. Yeah, the concept was hers too. And then she says, and I have all that extra money to pay. Her mortgage is $10,000 more a month. She used to pay $8,000. Now it is $18,000 because of his taxes. So then the producer asks, he goes, hey, Jax, have you signed the RSS feed over? What does Jax say? Yeah, I signed the paperwork for it. We had to wait until the contracts were up. Bullshit. But yeah, he goes, I handed it over to her because, like I said, it's worth a lot of money. So handing her that feed, clean slate now, we're even. Okay, sure. But you see how easy he lies? Britt says he's trying to argue that you'll get all the money when you sell the house. And I'm like, cool, I don't want to sell the house. But then she's so fucked. He fucked her so much. She says, I'm also paying $10,000 more a month. And that's going to add up over the years. So how much am I actually going to make? I put $250 down on the house. What am I going to even make back by the time it's all over? And she says, and I'm only going to make whatever is left over after his taxes. So whatever they sell, whatever is still left on his taxes, because it's a tax lien, she's only going to get the remainder of that. So she's like, I'm screwed either way, and he doesn't realize that. I mean, she's married to, she's so fucked. She's so fucked. Jax goes, the house is going to her. I gave it to her fully. It's going to go in her name. The mortgage has been paid off. I paid it off while I was in rehab. I wrote them a check. I thought you said you couldn't pay it off. I thought you said you didn't have the money to pay it off. You can't just pay it off right now. So this is the only way to do it, was to hand over the RSS feed. Then he goes, my goal is obviously to hand over the house. My son loves that house. He loves the pool. He loves the backyard, and Brittany loves it too. I'm not an awful person. I don't want to disrupt Brittany and Cruz's life. You did. You are so disgusting. He knows because of his taxes, he's made the house worthless because there's a tax lien on it. Oh my God. I mean, what a piece of shit. And then he's like, you'll make all the money when you sell the house. Okay, but I don't want to sell the house. So now I have to sell the house with the child who loves the house. And now I wouldn't be surprised if her credit's all fucked up too, because her name's on the mortgage and that mortgage went into foreclosure because that's all. Oh, I forgot to say that. The home is in foreclosure now. This is what I missed. Jax said, I forgot to say this part in the very last part of the episode, the actual episode. At some point, it's like, when did he have time to send this email? But Jax sent Brittany a long email about the house and how the house is in foreclosure and that he will not be paying anything anymore, that she is responsible until they sell the house. And then he also says we split the pod 50-50, but he just told Jason and Janet that he's giving it all to her because he was lying. Because he knows that that's a real solution. He knows that that is a real fucking solution. But he doesn't want to hand it over because he's just going to take all of her money and leave her with nothing with a child who has special needs. Oh my God. I can't. And then he's all like, oh, yeah, I mean, I got my own podcast now. I've been on my own for a month. I'll be fine. I'll rebuild it. I'll build it back up. Not a big deal. Oh, I'm so glad. I'm so glad that Brittany put $250,000 down on the house, just like you did. You defaulted on it. Yes, fault her for not paying attention and not knowing, whatever. But, she didn't know about it. But as soon as she did, she has been responsible and paying and on top of it. But she's going to get dinged for it. Your tax lien has made the mortgage way more a month. You have not given her any extra money. Okay? Because then they talk about in the after show, she asked him for $5,000. She's like, he hasn't given me any money at all. And I've spent everything, including the extra $10,000. Can you imagine, like, if you knew that your taxes were the reason for her spending an extra $10,000 a month? Wouldn't you fucking care? But he doesn't. He thinks that it's, so what? He's like, I don't want the house anymore. You can take it, Brittany. The house is Brittany's. The house is worthless. Because of you. And so she'd asked him for $5,000. He only wrote her a check for $3,000 and said she'll get the rest later. Then he has the nerve to claim he's given her a lot of money, like in this past year, $25,000, $30,000. Sure you have, buddy. But then also her wedding rings are still missing. Brittany says they're still missing, and then the producer asks Jax, and he goes, "Yeah, I have it." Does she know you have it? Yeah, Brittany, I have not seen it. I don't know where it is. He says it's in the safe, but I don't know. Jax goes, "It's in my safe." Yeah. What's the plan for it? Jax goes, "A trust for Cruz." Huh. Producer goes, "And you guys agree on the plan?" Yeah. Brittany goes, I told him that I wanted to keep it. This is so sad. She said, I told him I wanted to keep it and put the money in an account for Cruz. Or if Cruz wants to get married one day, he can use it. He can use the ring. She goes, it's not like I was going to wear it or sell it or anything. But then the producer asks Brittany, what are the chances he sold it? And she, very high. Then the producer goes to Jax, you haven't pawned it yet? Ha ha. Jax goes, not yet. I've thought about it. I'm not going to lie. And then Jax goes into some long story. I'm like, the fact that you thought about it is disgusting. Why'd you think about it? But he goes into this long story about how Kyle Chan, who he got the ring from and designed the ring, told him that the diamond market is just really bad right now. And so it's not a good time to sell. Well, then Jesse comes in again and he goes, I still don't understand this because I've talked to a million lawyers and they tell me that a ring in California is a gift. And Jax goes, it's a gift? Like I have to give it to her? Well, it's in the safe. It's in the safe. It's safe there. No pun intended. That pun made me know that it's not in the safe. It's not in the safe. And this is interesting. I don't know what's happening with their divorce exactly, but like, I have a feeling if he has pawned it and sold it, that I'm sure a lawyer could come after him for it, right? Like Brittany's lawyer. Like, what do you mean you pawned it? That's technically Brittany's. It's a gift. It's technically hers. So you just like stole from her basically. And he has, and he is. But Brittany was in a marriage with him. Like when you get married, you're fucked. Brittany also says that with her, he was really on top of it, like really tight. Like we're spending too much on clothes or shoes or whatever. And that's how sick he is because he doesn't have any money. So he was spending money on shit. What was he doing with it? A trust for Cruz. I also I'm so grossed out by that lie. You know, he didn't want to put up a trust for Cruz. He's just making that up right then. So he's like, a trust for Cruz. Well, is it done yet? You know? And that's what Brittany said she wanted to do. So if that's all you wanted to do with it, then where is it? So so disgusting. He's so disgusting. I think I already did the Janet part of the after show. Hold on, let me make sure I got my notes. I think we already did it. Yeah. Oh, another thing from the after show. This is about Janet and Jason. I could not understand and follow if she meant that a month before they filmed this after show or a month before they filmed that scene, Jasmine went to Janet's desert house and spent the holidays. You know how Sheena and Lala have desert homes? I think Janet's a part of that little crew because they all have the kids and stuff. And I believe Jasmine's yeah, I went down there, but I was very cautious, but I wanted to see my friends. So I'm assuming it's because she wanted to see Sheena and Lala, I'm guessing. I'm not sure. Or I don't know if it was before. No, that wouldn't make sense, would it? Because I don't know. That I'm a little confused by the timing on that. Just because the way that Janet and Jason are talking about Jasmine still, even in the after show, I'm she was just at your house for a month? A month ago? So I was a little confused on that timeline. But I think that's it. I think I got... Let me make sure I got everything. Yes, I did. I hit all the points. I just kind of went out of order. Okay, got it all. Oh, Jasmine was on Watch What Happens Live. Nothing really eventful happened. Nothing that crazy or that shocking. Unless I forgot something. But yeah, that's it. All right, that wraps us up. Jax is the worst. We hate him. We hate him so much. Anyway, guys, love you so much. Mean it. See you next time. Bye.
Thanks for tuning in to She's Speaking with Emily Hanks. This show is produced, hosted, and edited by me, Emily, and brought to you in partnership with Cloud 10 Media. If you are looking for bonus content, check out the Patreon. The link is in the description. To show some support, you can hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss an episode. Another free way to support the pod, please rate and/or review on whatever platform you listen. It's free, and it helps the algorithm or something. You can also head to buymeacoffee.com/shespeaks and buy me a coffee or two. Make sure you're following me on all social medias. I am She's Speaking with Emily Hanks across all platforms: Threads, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. That's it. Thank you guys. See you soon.